Hey, everybody. Welcome to another week of Dentistry Unmasked. I'm Pam Maragliano-Muniz, joined by,
Hey, Pam, David Rice. Good to see you again.
oh my gosh, so great to see you. And I'm so excited for this week because, all right, like I know we have a friend and a great colleague, but I've known this guy for since 2000. So we're working on 25 years of knowing each other. So Dr. Scott Peppler, he was a classmate of mine at Tufts. Welcome.
Thank you, Pam. It's great to see you again. I can't
So
believe we're
great to
meeting over
see
this.
you. Oh, I know. It's crazy. And it's just, we got to hang out at Hinman and it was like literally no time went by. It's like, you know who your friends are when that happens. So, so good to see you. So tell us a little bit about what's going on. I mean, obviously, you're doing some interesting things, but you've had quite a journey.
I have 21 years now as a dentist. I've done everything from owning my own practice to having a partner to actually emerging and most recently selling to a small DSO. So I've kind of lived a whole lot of dentistry in that short 21 years. Um,
How did
I
you
have a
get like,
partner. Yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
no, I was going to just say, like, was that evolution, like, was that something that you had planned over years, or was that something that just sort of came to you? I think a lot of dentists are like, how do I get from A to B to C to D?
That's a great question. When I first started dental school, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go be a dentist. I'm going to open up a cosmetic practice and make billions of dollars and sell that practice and retire, on an island somewhere. And that's definitely not how it has come to be. When I first got out, I worked as an associate. Um, and along the way, I opened up my own practice and I also became an associate in a larger practice. We had 10 chairs, 4 or 5 hygienists at any given time, and 4 or 5 assistants as well. And that's where I spent most of my career to this point, was with the one doctor. He and I had this plan. He is retiring, and we had a 5-year plan where he's going to hang it up. I'm going to either take over or we'll bring that third associate on and they'll either buy in or buy out or what have you. And we hired an associate, didn't quite work out the way we thought it was going to. Um, and then all of a sudden, this thing called the pandemic hit us. And that threw obviously everybody for a big loop. And after we came through the pandemic, our 5-year plan was now a 4 or 3 year plan. And we just didn't have that associate to buy him out. And I looked him in the eye and I said, you know, I have zero desire to take over a 10-op practice with 18 employees, all these hygienists, and try and survive. So that's where, we took a 180 turn and started to entertain, okay, what are other options? And so I had a friend who had merged with a small DSO and he said, hey, Scott, let's sit down, let's talk. And we did. And that was in 2022. And in January, we talked with him. We talked with the DSO, Aspire Dental, thinking, oh, you know what? This may or may not be for us. And we went from meeting in January to signing paperwork May 1st. And I went from being a practice owner to being an employee. So there's obviously pros and cons to all of that. But that being said, my partner that I had for 18 years will be retiring in 2 weeks. So it's a bittersweet.
That's really cool.
Wow. And so it's interesting because a lot of people, when they partner, or you hear stories, people, when they partner with DSOs, you know, some of them are not really that happy. They kind of wish they didn't do it. But you've decided to kind of create a side hustle on top of still practicing clinically.
That's right. I still practice 4 days a week. The one of the great things about joining a DSO is I go to work, I see my patients, and for the most part, I get to go home. I don't have to stay after work and worry about payroll and making sure the numbers are in, worrying about something's breaking in the office, kind of that HR, if you will, and the stuff that we didn't learn how to do in dental school. So that's off my plate, and that freed up some time for me.
So tell us.
Do
So
tell.
do tell. So at that juncture, I was like, you know what? I'd like to spend my time doing something, another venture, what have you. And I was discussing this with a great friend of mine who is in the soft textile business and manufacturing of different soft textiles. And that's where I stumbled across, you know what? Scrubs. Why not scrubs? And that kind of just got our brain going. Well, they're non-seasonal. Tons of people buy them, lots of healthcare people. And there's one or two main players that have a designer scrub out there. And I used to wear those, and there was a few things that I wanted to change. I wanted to improve upon what was out there. So he and I had a little conversation, didn't think it'd be much of it or that would take off. And here and there we go to dinner and kind of like revamp that little idea we had in our head. And at one point he said, you know what? Let's talk to some of these manufacturing companies. And so we did. And that's where it kind of just, the light went on and we're like, well, let's do it. And I thought, this is pretty simple. Let's take this and mix that and do this and add a button here, do this or that. And we'll have scrubs to take to market in a few months. Well, that 2 months turned into about a little over 2 years, where we spent some rigorous time with that free time that I had on perfecting materials. What exactly did I want to change with the scrubs that I was wearing that I wanted to perfect or take to that next level, or if you will, rise above the competitors. So we did. And I feel like we have established something that is going to be a great item and a great product for those dentists or hygienists or nurses, if you will.
Okay, so I have to tell a story. It is kind of crazy. So Scott reaches out and he's like, "Hey, I'm creating a scrub company." I was like, "Oh, that's cool, whatever." And he's like, do you mind if I sent you some prototypes? They're not the final. It's not, they're not done, but like, would you just check them out? Tell me what you think. Let your team wear it, whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, okay, no problem." And so this box of scrubs come, and I'm like, "Guys, my friend from dental school, let's put his scrubs on and let's do an Instagram post. Let's whatever." And they're like, "Okay, whatever." I'm like, "So pick out, whatever." And you gave us like limited sizes, whatever.
Yeah, we
They were
did.
like, it was just sort of, they're not done. So and I didn't order set things. It was like the craziest thing. So this thing that went from, all right, we're just going to shoot a video for my friend, went to, they were like the sisterhood of the traveling pants. If you haven't watched that movie, it's like these four friends, all different sizes, are able to somehow by like magic wear the same jeans and like go live their best life with these jeans. It was like they fit everybody and everybody put them on and they were like, what are they? I love these. And I was like, they're not even done. Like, I don't know what done means, but and it went from we're going to shoot this video to can we keep them? I want that. Like these are my new favorite scrubs. And I mean, Scott, you really are onto something because I don't know anybody that has not put these scrubs on and like legit loves them. Well, like, what did you do?
I know. I appreciate that. And we took a blend of some very popular, athleisure type clothing, and we kind of blended what they have for fabric, what their styles are, what their cuts are. And I wanted something that was going to be a pant or a scrub top or whatever you had that you just felt super comfortable. You didn't feel like you had scrubs on. I personally wear the scrub bottoms out and about, almost daily. My wife's like, "Are you really going to wear this?" Like, absolutely, I'm going to wear these. They're the most comfortable thing I have. So that's, like I said, I feel like we nailed it. And you are 100% accurate, Pam. The people that we get hands on them or let them try them on or let them see them, or somebody says, "You know what, I want to order a set. Are these for real?" We're getting those multiple orders coming in from those that have tried them on, that people feel it, they compare to what they're used to. And they're like, "These I can tell are very nice." they're really high quality. They're premium. We built in a 4-way stretch. They're antimicrobial. They're moisture wicking. So they're just all around premium scrub for the price of what you're already paying for scrubs.
Yeah, I will second that as I don my scrubs.
I love it. I love it.
Pam, you also look spectacular.
Thank
Um,
you.
but yeah, you can tell like the moment I put on the scrubs, I'm like, oh, okay. These don't feel like scrubs at all. These feel much more athleisure world
Hmm.
line of clothing, which, I like to be in as often as I can be in because they're comfortable. And I think it's already stressful enough and hard enough to do the whole dentisting thing. So why not actually like remove the first barrier, which is like either cheap, fine, scratchy, like yuck scrubs that don't hold up also, or pay
What
dumb amounts for them.
what I love is you're walking around or you're going to lunch and you're at a venue and all of a sudden a doctor or somebody walks in with that grade of scrub and you can just tell they grabbed it from the dryer because it's so wrinkly and they can see everything right through it. These as well are that kind of wrinkle resistant. So I don't iron them, I don't dry clean them. I go straight from washer dryer to put them in the closet and waking up and putting on the pajamas to go to work.
Exactly that. I'm the same. I take things so it's funny. We wash our scrub jackets and I do it once a week and my office manager shares the duty with me. She'll hang them and like do all the things. I'm like, nope, I take them and chuck them in a bag and bring them to the office. And I do the same with my scrubs. Like I just fold them and they're in a drawer. I don't hang them and like try to do anything fancy. And I didn't really realize I had a scrub problem until I learned about these scrubs. And it went from, okay, I mean, I'll just put them in the rotation, and it went from they were in the rotation to nope, I need one for every single day I practice. And these are my scrubs now. And so thank you, Scott, for making me have to revamp my whole scrub life.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, and that's the story we're hearing. We launched in call it December of last year, kind of as a soft launch, and we're full bore social media. The biggest asset that we have are people like yourself have worn them, and they tell a friend, a colleague, or someone in the office sees them. It's kind of like when you have a new product or a new material in dentistry. It's like, you know what? All right, I go to Hinman, I watch these lectures. And they're saying, okay, this is a great way to do this. This is a fantastic material to use. And what do? You give it a shot. You test it out. You buy a sample set, and you try that composite. You try that, whatever it is you're trying, and the people have fallen in love with the rice scrubs. So it's been great.
So exciting. Congratulations. It really is. So tell us about I mean, you mentioned wrinkles, you mentioned moisture wicking. Like what should
Yeah.
be looking for in a quality scrub? I mean, I feel like you see influencers on Instagram, so you're like, "Oh, I want them because I want to be like them." But I don't think we really think about what we should be looking for to be truly comfortable, to be able to improve ergonomics and all of the things for longevity.
Um, One thing that sparked my interest in the scrubs and developing them was twice in my career, and I can remember almost the exact time. I was sitting down with a patient in the chair, ready to perform some dentistry, and my lovely assistant at the time passed me a note and said, "Doc, there's a hole in your scrubs." Or no, she said, "Doc, there's a hole in your crotch," is what it was. And yep, I split out my scrubs, right in the crotch area. Uh, and I had that happen twice to me. And that was kind of like, what? Why is, what's the material? Why is this happening? So that was one of the main features on the male scrubs that we have. We had a little gusset made into the crotch area for the men that it just allows us to, unfortunately, spread the legs, do what we need to do, and move, and the scrub moves with us. There's no restriction that impedes movements there. We did the same thing with a gusset on the women's and the men's under the armpit, where you can raise your hands and not feel restricted because the material is not coming with you. So those are the two main features that we put together for this line of scrubs. We also worked on the waistband. I mean, how many times have you been to the dentist, the doctor, a healthcare provider, and they turn around and walk away, or they bend over to grab something out of a drawer, and what do you see? You see half their butt. So that was something I wanted as well, something that was going to stay up, something that was going to feel good. So we worked on that waistband really heavily, as well as the drawstring. So those are some of the big components that we went after.
I'll
It's
also share that I can hold my cell phone in my pant pocket. Like I can throw I can throw my cell phone in there and I'm not worried it's going to fall out. It doesn't go anywhere. I mean, so that's helpful too.
Yeah, yeah. The pockets are a little bit deeper, and just the material kind of holds it close to you. It's not flopping around as you walk in the cargo pants. So yeah, those were some of the main key points that we had, and we've had some nurses. We've kind of come to know that nurses like a lot of pockets. Our scrubs that we have right now don't have a lot of pockets, if you will, which the dentist, the doctor, the hygienist doesn't necessarily need. So but down the road, we'll kind of tailor to different avenues of the healthcare system.
I love that. Attention to detail. Turned out that's a dental thing.
Read the instructions first, right?
You don't need them with these. Thank God.
Exactly. So yeah, no, we're excited to build upon what we have already. We will eventually get more colors. We're going to get them into the tall and petite sizes. But yeah, that all comes with time as we continue to grow.
That's interesting. And I want to hear more about the entrepreneurial aspect of it because I feel like a lot of people now want to have a side hustle or they have an idea and they're not really sure what to do with it. And so you've taken it and here it is. It's starting to grow legs and it's going. But it's not something that happens overnight. You have to stick it out for a little bit. Would you share a little bit about, what kind of keeps you moving with this? And how I'm
Yeah.
sure there's plenty of times you wanted to just forget it and walk away, but here we are.
It's a good question. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that, as a dentist, we show up. We're trained on how to do a filling, how to do a crown prep, how to, whatever we're doing in the dental realm. Doing this side hustle, I think I see a lot more with the younger dentists now that want to be an influencer. They want to have their own podcast. They want to have their Instagram go viral. They want to be on TikTok, all of these things. Some of the things that I've learned along the way is, it's a different type of team that I'm building here. I have a marketing team. I have someone that is good with social media. I have, 3PL and fulfillment center and return policy and all these things that it's actually quite refreshing. When I step out of my dental realm and I go into let's be a scrub rep. What does that entail? It entails having those conversations with the marketing team. One of the best things that's come about this is networking, which is fantastic. I could reach out to Pam and say, "Hey, try these out," and Pam's like, "Oh, you know what? You got to meet David. You got to do this." And just like at Hinman, I start talking to people about scrubs, and it's like you get someone, "Oh, you know what? We'd love to talk to you about bringing those into our hygiene school or into our dental school or what have you." And so it's opened up, it's quite reviving. Like I said, that it's not just dental. Go home, watch my kids baseball, go to sleep, wake up, do dental. There's my brain's a little more active now. Like, well, what can we do next?
So you mentioned earlier you thought, much like I think many of us have been done, like oh, we're going to go out there, we're going to rock this thing, and we're going to in a couple of months we're going to be out there, and took a couple of years later to get there. If I am one of those young dentists that you just mentioned, and I do have this vision for myself of something different, like what kind of expectations should I set where I'm staying positive and moving forward, but maybe there's some reality to what it takes to actually build something from scratch that's not what we were trained to do in school?
That's great. I think there's a lot that can go into that, and how do we unpackage about going about that and doing it. I think the expectation is unfortunately, you don't just come out of dental school and you're not a perfect dentist. You're not the best dentist out there. Some might think they are, but it takes experience. It takes time to get to that point. Um, with a side hustle, with a side gig, a lot of the social media that we see online is it doesn't portray what it has taken to get to that point. It takes determination. It takes thought. It takes a mentor. It takes needing to ask questions and to listen and take other people's experiences to heart. And okay, you know what? David told me about this, about becoming a new dentist. Why is he telling me that? Well, probably because he's seen it a few times and he's not trying to set you up for failure, but trying to help you out in the realm of, you know what, it'll all work out, but there's definitely persistence that needs to happen. And you have to have an open mind.
True. Very true.
So what's next? You mentioned expanded sizes, possibly expanded colors. Are you going to do accessories? Like, what's your long-term
So
goal?
the probably one of the first questions that comes out of everyone's mind is, do we do lab jackets? I think there's a lot of people that are looking for that comfortable premier lab jacket. So lab jackets is definitely on the horizon that we're going to be working on. The colors, yeah, absolutely. A lot of people ask, do we embroider? Do we, logo stuff? We have the ability to, but the lab jackets and sizes and colors are the main things. And then, like I said, we'll venture out to, okay, do we need more pockets? Do we need to, what do we have to change? And my whole goal when I got going with this is I wanted that baseline. This is our standard jogger pant. This is our standard classic pant. And, moving forward, let's modify this a little bit. Let's tweak this a little bit. Let's add an accent color and accent pocket in different realms.
Yeah, I think it's so smart to just dig deep and come out with like just an amazing run of product and let everybody. I think to your point, like people will come to you and give you all the ideas you need next because
That's
you've
right.
given them something that they're like, this is tremendous. Now can you do? And then you can kind of figure that out as you go. Very, very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That's we're taking everything with a grain of salt and writing everything down so we don't forget. This person said this, what have you. So no, it's great.
I love that. So where can we find these magical things?
So we're on Instagram, on social media at Rise Scrubs. We have a website, www.risescrubs.com, where you can go and take a look and see what we have to offer. We have a free return policy. Most people that are returning is, the size may be a little bit different, or I want to try the jogger as well. But people they're digging them, and that's what, like David said, persistence. We got to take the time, and it's, we're getting orders from all over the nation, states that we haven't really pushed it. Like it's kind of cool to see those orders coming in, and it's like, well, how did they find us? Who told them about us, or did they find us on social? Or we're having people reach out to us that want to be an influencer or an ambassador or whatever you want to call it, that want to say, oh, you know what, we'd love to do some reels or some TikToks, in your scrubs. And so, yeah, it's kind of fun. Like I said, it's a whole different thing than doing dentistry all day, every day. So it's kind of shed a little bit of excitement and energy.
Well, thanks for
Awesome.
bringing us something better. That's for sure. I know I'm a happy guy, and Pam, I know you're a happy gal,
Oh
and
yeah, I bought them for everybody on my team.
awesome.
Yeah, no, love them.
Yeah, and we'd love to offer a discount for your listeners, where they can order a set. We'll have the code unmasked20 for 20% off, and we'd love to have people try them out and give us some feedback, and hopefully they enjoy them as much as you guys do.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for that. That's incredible. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for telling us all the things. And I think that you've probably inspired an entrepreneur or two. So thank you for
Cool.
that.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
course. All right, everybody. We will see you all next week on Dentistry Unmasked.
Thank you, everyone, for watching or listening to the show this week. And thanks to our guests and sponsors on this episode.
Please check out our social media at Dr. Pamela _Maragliano and at Dental Economics Official.
Or you can check me out at Ignite DDS or at Dr. David Rice.
And go to dentaleconomics.com to receive dental economics. You can choose to receive DE in print or digitally, and you can also get the details of our Principles of Practice Management conference on our website.
If you have topics or guests or anything you'd like to talk about on the show, send us an email to dentistryunmaskedpodcast@gmail.com, and we will do our very best to make it happen. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.